Well, hello there, and good morning to our listeners from around the world. I want to welcome you to another edition of This Morning with Soulivity, broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I'm so glad that you are here with us. I have two very special friends I'm going to introduce to you right now, Candice Harper and Tami Gaines. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. Good morning.
Hey, this is a fantastic Friday. A lot of stuff going on. We were just talking about the cherry blossoms here in Washington, D.C. that have bloomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, our season starts next week.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole park up here in Newark called Weekday, and they have like this amazing cherry blossom festival. It's
Yes.
much shorter than yours. I think it only lasts like 2 weeks, maybe.
Well, it here depends upon the weather. It's been cold. There's like a cold snap. And so if the blooms are starting to try to come out when it's cold, they kind of recede for a minute. And as soon as the warm weather comes, they bloom and then they're gone.
Mm.
And so, I was trying to hope to get down there and see them, but they're all over DC. I mean, there's cherry blossoms, apple blossoms, dogwoods. Those of us with allergies, we need to stay on top of our allergy medicine.
Is that what that is? Is that allergies? That nasal sound?
Oh yeah. Everybody, I've been fighting a little bit of a cold this week.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so thank you all for all the healing blessings that you've been sending me and all that. We have a fantastic show today, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about everything TikTok, and I would say social media in general, but mainly around TikTok. Um, the TikTok CEO testified yesterday before Congress, and this was amid scrutiny around the app's ties to China and its potential national security risks stemming from it. Now, the Biden administration, you guys know this, but the Biden administration has threatened to ban TikTok from the US unless the app's Chinese owners agree to spin off their share of the social media platform. Now, the US and other countries have also moved to ban the app on government devices. Now, here's an important point I want everybody to know. TikTok doesn't operate in China. It is Chinese owned, but it is based and operates in the US principally. Now, TikTok was the top downloaded app in the US 2021 and 2022, according from data from the analytics firm Sensor Tower. And some of its 150 million US users have built livelihoods and community on the app, say they can't imagine an America without it. And so this is such an interesting topic because I think a lot of people don't really. There's a lot of people who don't use TikTok. It's a platform that's mainly for people under the age of 34. I mean, that's mainly who's using it right now. But it is ever growing into other areas of our lives. I mean, there's even news and other entertainment information that you can get on TikTok now. And so, just what's your initial reactions to all this thing around TikTok? And Candy, I'll go to you first.
Well, when we talk about the user demographic, that the thing is that since COVID, that's rapidly changing.
Right. Right.
There's more Gen Xers and older, elder millennials and even older that have started joining TikTok. So it's doing that thing that Facebook sort of did, where it evolved.
Yes.
And I mean, my concern with it, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, is that it's like the American government is trying to demonize TikTok and put out these scare possibilities that China is going to somehow mandate our data, or there's going to be some sort of breach or leakage of information, which anything's possible with any of these platforms.
Right.
As we know with Russia and Facebook and the Trump election. But what kills me, and we were saying it earlier, is that, out of all the big ones, because now TikTok is on the level of Google and Facebook, it's the one that's not white owned.
Right. Right.
considered such the threat. And that there's these need to ban it unless you sell it. So who do they need to sell it to make it okay?
Right.
That's the question that comes in my mind.
Well,
That's my
don't you
skepticism.
Go on, Tami.
No, don't you think that it's just bad timing for TikTok on some level? Like we just shot down those weird balloons from China.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, like the CEO of TikTok is before Congress. It was just, I will say, I just think it's very ironic and very bad timing for TikTok. But to your point, it felt a little like I didn't watch the hearing.
Yeah.
But the questions they were asking that guy, borderline racist.
Yeah.
Whatever TikTok is, it felt a little bit racist.
Yeah. I mean,
Weren't they asking him about? They were asking him about like social
crazy stuff.
issues, like social issues.
Yeah.
He's like, I run TikTok.
Right.
I'm not the representative
of
China. Yeah,
right.
the Chinese ambassador.
Right. And they were asking him like questions around I mean, listen, I'm a tech guy. You guys know this. And I've been in tech long before, a lot before things like Netscape on the internet, as browsers were being used, before Google was out here, Yahoo, all this. And so I've seen the trajectory of everything over time. And it never fails to amaze me that you have congressmen and women who are trying to ask technological questions, which they are completely inept to ask about.
Right.
They were asking things like, in addition to the pseudo almost racist kind of questions on like social kinds of things, they were also asking like tech questions like, can you 100% guarantee that TikTok won't sell any users' data? Well, every tech company sells their data.
Yeah, it's a revenue stream.
It's a revenue stream. Every one of them. Credit. This has been going on before the internet with merchant companies like MasterCard and Visa.
Yep.
They have more data than anybody about. I mean, they're the ones who can actually predict your buying habits because they have like all of it. They know exactly what you buy on, right? And so I was just amazed. I would have hoped that if they were going to do something like this, that it would have been more of like a social media questioning where they would have brought in the CEO of TikTok, of Instagram, of Facebook, of YouTube. I mean, all these different people, and have them answer questions and maybe have proxies where they actually have tech people who are asking the questions instead of these politicians.
Remember they did that though? TikTok wasn't around, but I remember they gathered all the heads of social media companies to talk about the danger. So I totally agree that the line of questioning and the people doing the questioning, it was all suspect.
Right.
But I will say, like, in terms of TikTok, social media in general, I had a board meeting the other night, and there's a teacher there from the high school. She teaches juniors English. And she was saying that she is having a tough time teaching because the kids' faces are in their phones and they're watching TikTok.
Yeah.
And well, that's a whole nother topic because I'm like, take them away. Like, just take the phones away. But she was saying, like, if you walk down the hallway, all the kids' heads are down. Like no one's engaging with each other, let alone the teacher. So
see, I feel like that's like as someone who has to monitor my own TikTok usage. I feel like that is a product of social media in general, right? So just having the internet has been such and I feel fortunate being at an age where I got to actually witness the evolution because anybody born after the 90s doesn't even know what it was like without it. But just having all of the access to the world and social media, while it definitely needs to be monitored, like usage needs to be monitored, it's like, just like part of an amazing experience of being alive at this time.
Right. Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. But I got to be honest with you. I don't use TikTok.
No.
I started an account, I think, like in December.
Yeah.
Because people said I should use it to, promote my events and my speaking. They were like, you should be making videos on TikTok.
Yeah.
I
agree though, Tami. You should.
You would be great.
I'm a late adopter when it comes to tech. I really am. But I do think it requires some discipline.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Who enforces discipline? I got to tell you guys, I'm on Facebook like every few days. I'm on LinkedIn. I try and check in.
Yeah.
I'm not addicted. I think in my own head, I'm like, what else could I be doing right now?
Right. Like there's got to be something more.
Well, again, Tami, you're bringing up an important point, and as we come up to our first break, there has been this generational shift around how we view and see social media. Right, social media in the past was like something like you've got mail generation, right? Where you work and then you go play or you do this thing on the side, right? And it's just something that's an addition to your lifestyle that you're putting in. Now it is fully integrated. I mean, everything that we do, everything that we see, interviews on cable, on radio, or whatever, you always hear about, hey, follow us on social media, or this interview was done on social media, whatever it is. Here's some interesting things about TikTok in general. More than 1 in 3 Americans are using the app. That's a lot of folks. It has changed the online experience well beyond its own platform, with almost every other major social media platform pivoting to video, which is very, very true. And let's see, Pew Research found a small but growing number of U.S. adults are also now getting their news on TikTok, even as news consumption on other social media platforms stagnates or declines. So listen, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to keep talking about this. We're going to talk a little bit about data and privacy in a minute, and more on TikTok and other social mediums in just a minute. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hey there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoy the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life.
Hello there. This is This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined by my great guests, Candice Harper and Tami Gaines. This is Brian Wesley Johnson. And we are talking about TikTok, the TikTok takeover, everything that you need to know. There is a potential ban or buyout that is kind of being pushed right now by U.S. officials and the current administration. And we want to try to give you some information on this to let you know, what make you actually think about, is this something that affects my life? Maybe this is something that I need to be paying attention to. And so, you know what I mean? I mean,
Do you know, Brian, that they already banned TikTok though?
Yes, for government devices. Yes.
In other countries. We're like coming up late to this party.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they banned on government device. I mean, I'd have to search, but there's like 3 or 4 countries that have already banned TikTok on government devices.
India definitely has.
Yeah, India. I want to say like Canada.
No, not Canada.
I don't think Canada.
Yeah, but definitely India. There was I'm trying to see.
Yeah, why don't you do a quick?
We're just now having this conversation when they banned it like 6 months ago.
Well, that Trump tried to ban it too, as well.
Right.
He did the same thing that Biden's. Well, what they're trying to do is get TikTok to sell. They're saying they're threatening a ban unless you sell, which is the thing that bothers me, because banning is one thing. Banning and saying, absolutely it can't be used, which I don't agree with that as far as, living in a democracy, but they're trying to get them to sell it so that it can still be apparently used, but owned by who? That's my thing.
Chinese owned.
Yeah.
Come on now.
And
what if it was Black owned? People would be in the streets protesting.
Right. Okay. So here we go, guys. The United States isn't the only place with second thoughts on TikToking. That's funny. The app this is from a story, guys, in NPR, by the way. The US is threatening to ban TikTok. Good luck, says NPR. The app is banned in India, with other restrictions in place or being considered in the European Union, Canada, Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia, the Netherlands, and more. So it's only banned in India at the moment.
Yeah.
And my guess is, okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. Because one thing about TikTok that I think they're setting the standards right now about how you use video. I mean, there's more TikTok videos across other platforms than any other medium right now. So if you're watching, if you're on Facebook, more than likely you're watching a TikTok video that's been shared to Facebook or Instagram, right? And so they're setting the discourse on beauty standards, cultural appropriation, finances, privacy and parenting, and impacting consumption habits from books to music, boosting small businesses and keeping users privy to the avian illness drama. So they're doing a lot, bringing stuff to the forefront, and almost, I would say, to a certain degree, filling a space that Twitter used to fill. Right? Because now that Twitter is now owned and fully managed by Elon Musk, which is a whole nother topic that we can talk about. There's not this sharing of information that's going on, right?
Yeah. And the sharing of information with video is just such a completely different experience than, tweeting, however many characters or, text bytes.
Right.
That really has such an impact because it's so visceral. It's almost as though you get to feel so much of who other people are and their energy when they relay whatever they're relaying. And I think that's why it's as impactful as it is.
Right.
And I think with anything, there's that social media in general, there's the positives of it and how powerful it is to be able to have people who aren't billionaires, aren't in the 1%, don't have governmental power, able to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Right. With something that colossal, you're also going to have the dark side, right? People who are information that's not valid, people who are, scamming or stealing other people's information. Yeah, and people bad actors who can get access to information that they shouldn't, and addiction.
Exactly. Yeah, go ahead, Tami.
No, I was just going to say about the sharing. First of all, Candy, you make a great point. Like, we live in a society where we want snackable, shareable information quickly.
Yeah.
Like, we're not taking time. But I got hacked by Facebook, like through Facebook.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Like, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half. It was crazy because not only, they hacked my Facebook, and then I started a new account, and then they hacked that one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably, this was like 2 years ago. But what was so deep about it, talk about privacy and data, I was posting like very thoughtful stuff about what a horrible president Donald Trump was. Like usually like once a week I would drop like a serious, like, I want you guys to think about something. And I had 5,000, my Facebook page was maxed. My Tami Gaines page was at like 5,000 people. So I lost all of those relationships. But the crazy thing is they tried to hack me a third time, and they sent an email which requested I contact some number to get my account back.
Yeah.
Called the number. I just said, like, I'm on the other line with the FBI. Like, we're tracking this. You better give me my account back, or else. And they did. They turned my account back on.
Oh, wow.
So, by the way, TikTok was on the stand, but I think they're all equally dangerous.
Yeah. That's the one point that I wanted to try to get across to everybody around like data and security, because I know that TikTok is the hot topic now, and that they're like, pushing them forward. It used to be Facebook, right? At one point it was Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And your data, number one, your data is going to be shared. I mean, just understand that if you're on social media and you're giving information that's there, your data is going to be shared, your content's going to be shared. It's all in the terms and conditions when you sign up, right? And it doesn't matter if you're signing up through your Google account, your Facebook account, whatever. That stuff is going to be shared. And so to single out TikTok and saying, oh, well, this information might go to Chinese folks and this kind of thing, I just think it's just
usual colonialism.
Yeah, I'm just like, really, y'all, really? Yeah. Now, understandably, as we're coming up to break here, understandably, there are platforms that you have to make sure that are secure in terms of like government devices. Everybody back in the day, the government would only allow people to use BlackBerry. Why? Because BlackBerry technology was highly secure. Now we've morphed into other mobile technologies. The same is true for social media. So just think about all this. Get educated. We're going to try to give you some more information here. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking more about this and like the disconnect that might be happening between young and the old around TikTok. Maybe that's part of this too. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity.
6 years ago when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. We are talking about all things TikTok, I'd say, and social media, right? I mean, we are talking about this, ladies, around just our use of social media. But one thing around this buyout or ban of TikTok that I think people need to understand is that there's probably a divide between the young and old on this. As the Washington Post reported in their storyline, the biggest decider of who backs a TikTok ban if they use TikTok.
Yeah.
And it says, as DC pushes for action against TikTok, a Washington Post finds more support that oppose the banning the app. And basically, they say that a Washington Post poll found that 41% of Americans support a federal ban of the popular short video app, while 25% say they oppose it. And that 71% are concerned that TikTok's parent company is based in China, including 36% who say that they're very concerned. Now, here we go into a very specific thing. The poll shows sharp divisions between generations, political parties, and people who actually use the app. A small majority of people who did not use TikTok in the past month support banning the app, while an identical majority of daily TikTok users oppose it. So again, here we go, right? Where if you don't use it, you want it banned.
Yeah.
That's so interesting though, because I don't use it and I'm ambivalent.
Right.
And the reason being, I feel like it's not for the government to determine what we get access to.
Yeah.
Like from a parenting standpoint, like thinking about that teacher the other week, I'm like, just take
Right.
the phone away. Like I've established in this house, my kids know, like no phones at the table.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, no phones before school, and they're older now and they still have the same habits. So I sort of feel like I feel more strongly that the government shouldn't be dictating for whatever reason.
Right.
They shouldn't really be dictating what we have access to. Like that's for us to do ourselves in a democracy.
Yeah. It's true.
You know,
I think they're overstepping on some level.
you know, it's interesting. It's interesting that TikTok is one of the platforms that they are targeting around whether or not the information is going to be sold to China, right? But you see other platforms that they don't have the same scrutiny for.
Yeah.
They're not asking for, like, I mean, Facebook again is American owned, right? It's publicly traded on the, on the stock exchange. But they have the same issues. They all have the same issues.
All have the same issues. And Brian, you made the point yourself. Do you think American Express sells data to China? And MasterCard?
Right.
Maybe it's, I feel like it's just bigger. It's bigger than like social media.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And again, this is, I think that when we talk about this, again, I think this is mainly those disconnects between the older generations and the younger generations, where the younger generations, they're born into a global society, right? They understand we're all connected, right? This box or this phone or this device that we have connects us to people from all over the world. And yes, as parents, we have to kind of monitor that and make sure that it's not, taking them away from other important things that they need to do, like get an education, right? Have some physical interaction with people, right? But they know more about it. The older generation, they don't. They just don't. I mean, I think about, go ahead.
Because you were mentioning earlier, talking about like the difference in generations and how, with TikTok in particular, the whole navigating of that. And my experience of it has been that it is a way for older generations to actually be able to connect with younger people if we approach it as if it's not like, like I feel older people took over Facebook, right? And in a lot of ways now Twitter. And I feel like with TikTok, there's the possibility for being able to reach younger people and have younger people reach us, because there's the element of listening and hearing and seeing each other as human beings. And my experience of it has been, I have been able to reach my audience, and my audience is a younger woman than I am.
Right.
Right? Like the women
Mhm.
that I work with are in their 30s mainly, their 30s and early 40s, and they're all over TikTok.
Right. Oh man. Oh
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, and so
Oh
it's
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it gives access to, and there's a lot of educators, there's a lot of people that come on with really great historical information and just a lot of different cooking, all sorts of lifestyle stuff that back in the day it used to be that you could only get that stuff from the elders in your family. Or you'd have to go to particular groups, churches, communities to actually be able to get that kind of interaction. Whereas with TikTok, because the older generation is moving into it, there is beginning to be a uniting, I think, of the demographics, because whether it's that we're teasing and making fun of each other or sharing dances or lifestyle things, there's an interaction that I don't think we would have been able to experience on this scale
Right.
without
Right.
it.
That's such a great, yeah, Candy, that's such a great point. So
Yeah.
as much as now that's kind of deep. Let's think about that for a second. The reason that I'm sort of down on social media is because I feel like it creates a block between we're talking about generations, right? Between
Right.
me and like the younger generation, if your face is always on the phone.
Right.
But I can tell you that my kids, I'm not on TikTok actively like you are, but my kids are always sending me videos to check out.
Yeah.
My daughter is always like, Mom, you got to look at this video.
Yeah. Like want to
So
do
yeah,
it.
maybe it is like the great uniter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
maybe it's the great uniter. They can't wait to share like these videos with me. So
right.
maybe it's
Well,
I have
well,
the
you
wrong
know,
thought about it.
well, I mean, listen, with every technological advance, there becomes a divide between the young and the old, right? I remember my grandmother talking about the fact that her father was like, "Oh, I'll never get an automobile. There's nothing wrong with my good old horse and buggy." The difference between people who had radio and television, right? And remember back, oh, you're gonna become, that idiot box, right? That was the TV, right? You're gonna have your head all in that TV. You're watching too much TV. We're only watching like an hour or two a day of TV. Things like that. And now we're in this situation now where we're in the new generation, new technology, where we're in the information age, right? Where again, you can have private conversations with anybody all over the world on your phone, right? I mean, it was not even 15, 20 years ago where like WhatsApp, I mean, what I'm in France talking to my boy in Jamaica, who just talked to his boy in Japan,
And it's not
right?
costing me $100 a minute.
Exactly.
Like I can do it freely.
Exactly. And so, man, I'm going to talk a little bit in the next segment. When we go to final thoughts, I'm going to just kind of tell people about what the CEO has been saying around this. I think it's really interesting for people to hear from him. And so we're going to just take a quick pause and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
All right, we are back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined today by Candice Harper and Tami Gaines. This is Brian Wesley Johnson. We are talking about TikTok.
Right.
Want to just read this statement from TikTok CEO Xiao Shi. in his prepared remarks before the U.S. committee yesterday. And he says, let me state this unequivocally. ByteDance is not an agent of China. ByteDance is the parent company who owns TikTok, everybody. Is not an agent of China or any other country. However, you don't simply have to take my word on that. Rather, our approach has been to work transparently and cooperatively with the U.S. government and Oracle to design robust solutions to address concerns about TikTok's heritage. You know, wow.
Okay, I just had like a little, I just had a moment I want to share with both of you.
Yeah, go for it.
Remember I said this was just bad timing?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that just popped into my head while you were reading that, Brian. One is, don't forget, like, the whole entire coronavirus, like, has been traced back recently to a lab in China.
Right.
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 I think there's some residual feelings about that.
Yeah.
And the rise of anti-Asian hate crimes has gone through the roof over the last couple of years, I think, because of that.
Yeah.
Do you think, is any part of this, is it all about TikTok, or is it about maybe something deeper? Like, it's about, this is something else coming at it.
Ooh, you better stop now.
Yeah.
Just based on what you just read, I'm like, is this really about TikTok?
Yeah.
I think you're on to something here, because there has been the rise of Asian hate in this country. In the rise of Asian hate also came along with COVID over that period of time. And so I don't think that there's a coincidence between people, specifically white males who are in power, saying you got two choices. You can either be banned or bought out. When there has been no has there been an investigation? Have you guys heard? No, there's not been an investigation on this. There hasn't been tech companies like Oracle. Where's Oracle?
Yeah.
Right?
There hasn't been a mastermind around this. There hasn't. I don't know. Why is TikTok the target?
Yeah.
I feel. Go ahead, Candy.
Well, I think that TikTok is the target because it's not a European owned
right
company. And there is a fear. It's that insidious mentality of white supremacy, that if we don't own everything, we can't have power over everyone.
Right.
And I'm generalizing it. I realize that I'm making a sweeping generalization over it. But I think that throughout history, there's been many indications of how European establishment, it does not tolerate, it's intolerable for anyone else to have the same level of power, control, and financial success.
It's like industrial slavery.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Brian, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Did you find the CEO of TikTok, because I didn't watch it, but did you find the CEO of TikTok to be like forthcoming and transparent, like he said when he was answering questions?
I think that in terms of the questions that he was being asked around like the technology or the organization of the company, he was being very forthright, right? He was being very transparent around that. But he was being asked questions, outside of the stupid social kind of cultural kinds of things. Does he have connections with such and such and such and such and this person and that person, where it was obvious that he wouldn't? And he was kind of like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That there were certain questions that he couldn't answer because they were outside of his bailiwick, right? So they were being asked questions about ByteDance, that's the parent company of TikTok, and people at ByteDance. It's like, well, why don't you ask them to come in here?
Yeah.
Right. Or do an investigation. right, to find out that. Just want to let people know around this thing, right? Because we all know about Twitter, right? We all know Twitter is being used internationally, right? Government employees aren't banned from using Twitter, right? But in July of last year, Twitter was hacked and 200 million user email addresses were posted to the dark web. These leaked email addresses can give bad actors information they need to start malicious attacks. Was Twitter banned after that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, if there's anybody I don't trust, it's Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Of course. No one
Exactly.
bothered him, right?
Listen,
Right.
man, stick to cars.
Exactly. Exactly.
Does it drive the point home that maybe this is a little deeper than everybody's talking about on
I
TV?
think it is. And I think politically somebody started it and they ran the numbers and around voters, right? Because younger voters vote less and less often than older voters.
Mhm.
And both parties decided, oh, well, we're just going to get on this bandwagon because there's no downside, right?
Yeah.
But there is a downside, right? As I said before, TikTok is fully integrated into American society. I mean, you've got places like Trader Joe's that are saying feature stuff like as seen on TikTok.
Yeah.
For
wow.
for foods made popular by TikTok, or Barnes and Noble, which has tables dedicated to book talk, hashtag book talk, right? I mean, it's here.
Well, that's so crazy. Well, didn't you also, we didn't really talk about it, but there are TikTok entrepreneurs and TikTok millionaires, like
absolutely,
building businesses on TikTok.
Absolutely.
So there's a big downside. And these are people that can't get normal financing. They can't go to a bank. They don't want to go get venture capitalists, but they have monetized their following on TikTok to create an income.
Yeah.
And so it would be terrible to take all of that away from them.
Absolutely. And there's valuable information to be had. Like, I can think of just even small things, life hacks, things that I do differently that make life easier. Like there's a great value in what this is, right? Like, like I was saying earlier, I think that the value of being able to have access to so many other people is higher than the detriment. I mean, and there's a dark and a light side to everything, right?
Right.
Just in the different things that you get to learn about people and their cultures, it opens up people's ability to accept each other, understand each other, not be afraid of each other. Because, when you don't know, you can be fear-mongered. Like, I think there's so many pluses to it. And I have such a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I have a affinity for it because I just love the information that I've gotten, even the information, if it turns out to be false, the entertainment, I don't know. There's a guy who does pressure points where you can alleviate pain in your body. I'm a hypnotherapist, so every now and then I'll come on and do like a meditation. Like you can help other people with it. You can really reach a lot of people. It's valuable.
Exactly. Listen, I want to end this segment before we go into final thoughts later on after the break. Just want to let everybody know, listen, the main thing that you want to do for social media, it doesn't matter if it's TikTok, it doesn't matter if it's Twitter or other places. You need to protect your information, right? As best that you can. Here's just a few tips. Use strong passwords or get a password manager or something like that, so that you don't have to, that can generate passwords and then it'll push it into whatever device that you're using. So you don't have to remember it. Avoid public devices, and if you're using a shared device, remember to log out of it when you're finished. Don't overshare, right? Don't, put in so much information that people can know where you're going to be when you're gone from your house, like your address and all that. So, and there's more that I can tell you about. We'll post a link to our social media here so that you can kind of look for yourself in terms of some other things to protect your information. But that's basically what you need to do. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. We're coming up with final thoughts next.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Told you that was going to be a quick break. Wow, great show today. Who wants to go first with some final thoughts? Tami, you want to go first?
Sure. Final thoughts. Okay. First of all, I want to be crystal clear that I am always so proud to say that I'm an American citizen. When I travel, I'm proud of our country. I'm proud to live here and be here and raise my kids here. That said, I do think that our country was fundamentally built on exclusion and racism. And I think this putting TikTok under the microscope, I don't think it's about data. I don't think it's about privacy. I think it is about what you said earlier, which was like people that are in power want to stay in power.
Mm-hmm.
And I just would ask everybody to just be mindful of the story and then the story behind the story. Like, be inquisitive.
Yeah.
If you just take this at face value, it seems like, all right, TikTok's maybe going to sell our data to China. But if you dig a little deeper, I think it reveals like a real fundamental bias.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Wow.
That's not a tip, but that's my final thought.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Tami. Important. That's very important.
Yeah.
Candice.
No, I love what you're pointing to as far as just being willing to dig a little deeper. I think often when we have something or, there's a new development in technology or, we get something that's novel as human beings, we tend to not understand that there's a responsibility with all of it. Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So we just want to kind of like jump in and indulge. And, I think that what you're pointing to, Tami, as far as like digging deeper and understanding what's going on with it and what's behind it, but also what Brian was saying too about really being responsible about usage of it and, protecting yourself as best you can, because let's face it, because of the internet, our data is at risk.
Right.
Right.
And also understanding that in order to get the benefit of anything, there has to be a balance. So like what we were talking about earlier, always having your face in your phone, obviously there are detrimental effects to that, and being asleep to what's really going on around all of it and who's in power around all of it. There are detrimental effects to that. So find that balance, like really understand what it is, what you're using to the best of your ability, and then monitor it in a way that keeps it healthy and workable. That would be my hope that we could work towards.
I'm loving
Well said.
y'all thoughts today. I'm just going to start my final thought with this specific statistic, and that is more than 900,000 people were victims of social media fraud in 2021, resulting in $770 million in losses, according to the Federal Trade Commission. And so, in terms of challenging everyone who is using social media or not using social media, if you're older and you're not on all these different platforms, what do you think this is really about? Is this about information and the selling of information and who controls the sell of that information? Or is this about the possibility that one platform may be distributing information to what would be a adversary of the United States and other major countries?
Hmm.
right? And so is banning TikTok or having a buyout of TikTok going to solve or move in the direction of solving those kinds of losses or those kinds of victims happening here in the United States? Because that's just here in the United States, by the way.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean,
yeah,
you want to immediately say no. That's
Right,
not gonna
right,
solve it.
right. And so it's not, and that's the answer. And so the
I think
answer
I got
is
a letter
no.
from
And so the answer is no. And I think, yeah, go ahead, Tami. Oh, I think Tami, you're going in and out, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I think we lost. Did we lose her?
Yeah, I think we lost Tami. But anyway, I'll keep. No, okay. I think we can hear you. I'll just finish up and then we can talk a little bit more. And so I'm just asking everybody to please, be discerning about, just as Tami and Candice were talking about this. It feels as though there's more going on. The process at which our leaders are taking toward this isn't toward solving a more global issue here in the United States. If they were, there would be like more regulations around like data security, data information exchange, and all that. And that would be across the board, but there aren't like that. I mean, there's some regulation, but it's not across the board like that. And so just be careful around, what we're talking about here. Man, we've run out of time, y'all. We've literally run out of time.
We covered a lot of ground though.
Yeah, I'll have links on up on our thing around Candice, your home project with its homeostasis. We'll put that in the chat as well, and Tami, your site as well for Tami Gaines. I just want to say thanks everybody for joining us. I know we got to go. We're running out of time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Yay, bye.
Bye. Have a great week.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.